You're listening to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast.
This makes my nipples hard.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in wherever it is that you're listening to us. Today we're going to talk about something. You're always laughing.
Because it's sorry, go ahead. It's just oddly manufactured this week. Wherever you're listening from, like you made us sound like we're on the FM radio. That was amazing.
Well, they might be listening in their car or in their house or outside on a walk on earphones. Or
And we just want to cover all those bases. Just you're welcome to listen to us no matter what you're doing or where you are, and you need to know that.
What you'd be wondering is, okay, are you guys just talking about where we're listening to you? Because that's kind of a dumb episode. But no, there's a method behind the madness. We, or at least I, and maybe Paul's occasionally going to join in, I'm going to talk about non-adventure games. Have you heard of those?
Gross, and yes, and let's get this over with. I will be folding my laundry while we do this. You've got 30 minutes.
Now, you said that, there's not a lot of story, and you need a story to kind of get into a non-adventure game. So I'm going to hit you right off the bat with Choplifter from 1982. That's good old Broderbund. And it was the very, very first computer game that I ever played. It was like on an Atari computer. But, okay, so you control a combat helicopter, and you have to rescue your hostages. Now, the hostages are delegates to the United Nations Conference on Peace and Child Rearing. So you know that these are very important people.
Riveting.
And they're being taken to a U.S. Postal Service building.
That's not a story, that's a premise.
I'm getting there. So you, the helicopter driver, you've smuggled yourself in as a mail sorting machine. So they don't even know that you're there to actually secretly rescue the hostages with your helicopter. So each of these buildings, they've got the hostages. You have to shoot out the tanks, land the helicopter on the ground without getting killed. All the little hostages run on, and then you drop them off at the postal building. And here's the thing, every time you do that, your secret spy abilities are a little bit less. So they kind of are like a little bit wise to you, a little bit quicker. So the enemy resistance intensifies.
I'm not going to play this game. I won't be playing this game.
But I can tell you, when you're like 3 years old and you're in the back sunroom on this brand new computer that your uncle just dropped off at your house, and all of a sudden this game is right in front of you in all of its glory, and you've never even experienced anything digital or a video game before, it becomes like a whole story. Like, this is your pilot, and he's on a rescue mission.
He's
and,
mail sorting machine.
That's right. So.
Wait, do they mean? Oh, you mean mail like the mail?
The mail sorting machine.
Okay, because
yes.
I heard this.
No. That's great.
Yeah, just one hunky sorting machine.
And you can't kill the good guys. There's good guys too if you can accidentally kill them. So there's a lot of intensity.
So in order for me to be blown away by this, it would have to be, according to your back setup there, it would have to be the first game I've ever seen. Basically, like, hey, if you were 3 and you never saw anything in color before, you're going to be wowed by this 16-bit palette.
Yeah, well, the hardest part about this game was trying to remember what it was called again many, many years later.
What was it called again?
It's Choplifter.
Choplifter. Nice. Good name.
Yeah.
I like the name. I like the name the most.
You know them, right?
Yeah. Broderbund brings out the Canadian in your accent, which I appreciate.
When I was a kid and my little bit of dyslexia, I always called it Boderbrund. And I really thought that's what it was.
Right. We both have that little hint of dyslexia.
We do. Sometimes I will look at something for years and years and years. And, what was the one I just learned I was pronouncing wrong? In a book, I always would read that it's a forensic specialist in the field of medical technology, but it's actually a forensic specialist. But you don't know that till you hear it out loud, and I don't watch medical shows or anything.
That's like a syllable emphasis issue.
Yes, the emphasis is on the wrong syllable.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
That
My
dates
mom
us.
got it. My mom would say that to me when I was a kid.
Right, same. We might even be young for that reference because it was our.
I think it's,
yeah.
Yeah. And then my mom gave me the whole talk about it, and she's like, one day, if you go to school and you had a new haircut and a friend or a girl at school came up to you and said, nice hair, what would you say? And I'm like, oh, I'd say thanks. And then she'd be like, right, well, what if you go up and that girl comes up and says, nice hair? How would you feel? And I'd be like, I wouldn't feel very good. And it all rolled into this big talk about syllables and emphasis and how people talk and tones of voice. And it's like, I've always remembered that conversation, though.
Clearly. I mean, like, oh my God.
I was like 7.
Odd amount of impact on you, I got to say. I don't.
You never know, and I think that raising kids too, whether it's playing a game with them or just talking to them, you don't get to choose the memories that they pick. It could be entirely insignificant to you, but to them it might be their world. It could even be life-changing, but you don't know. Yeah,
I've definitely done some damage, for sure.
Whoops.
Things I thought were funny. Okay.
Now you have one. Can you match me 1-to-1?
Yeah, well, see, I can. First of all, to everyone's surprise, because all I have to do is go back, 30 years. Okay, more than that, X amount of years, and harvest a handful of non-adventure games. So that's doable even for me. There's going to be a sharp cutoff around the year 2000, but I have 2 representatives past the year 2000. Okay, wow. So I'm going to start off with my first 3 are all Macintosh games, so I'm going to lose a lot of the audience on these. Just bear with me. Some of them got ported. Doesn't really matter. Let's just get through this, guys. Crystal Quest is so much fun. It's actually on Steam. So if you want to see what I'm talking about or revisit it if you grew up with it, I might, again, just be speaking directly to Chad on this one. Crystal Quest is on Steam, and it's a lot of fun. Do I need to explain what you do? Like, does it matter?
We all need to hear it, man.
It has the best sound effects of any game ever made. Because, okay, you use your mouse to move around. Oh, boy, I don't know how to explain it. Look, there's things in the game. Oh, my
gosh, I think I might have played this at my friend Kim's house.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's satisfying. There's so many things on the screen. Oh my goodness.
You got to avoid you got to get the crystals and avoid the things, and you just, good old mouse good old Mac one-click mouse. You click once and it shoots little things, and so you can shoot the baddies away. And then when you get all the crystals, you have to escape through a portal, which it resembles close enough to like a soccer net, I guess you could say. And it's really hard to get through it because if you hit it at all, you die. And when you go through it, the sound effect is, oh. I didn't nail that.
Yeah.
But
do you know why, though, right? You know why the sound effects are so good. Is because it was designed by the guy that did Carmageddon, right?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. It was?
Yeah, and he created all the art and sound effects in the game, and the level exit sound is Patrick as well.
I was going to say, I know that it's just the guy with the microphone going, oh.
It's him.
Or, oh.
Yeah, it is. It's actually him. But yeah, Carmageddon, I don't know if you played that. No. Another non-adventure game. I haven't gotten into racing games yet because I think that could get its whole other episode. Shh, it's okay. You don't need to have an opinion on that, Paul.
Well, I'm into that.
Would you? You would?
I like racing games.
I love so many racing games.
Yeah, dude,
oh my God. Okay, that's definitely going on the list.
They're my non-adventure games, racing games.
I also
really
like
those.
flight sim games, though I don't know if I have you on that.
Gross. My dad loves those
Can
games.
Can I put a few flight sims into the racing episode?
Man, I guess so. You could do it in like a let's go out to the lobby sort of thing. Like I'll go pee.
To get yourself a drink. Okay, that's fine. I can handle that. But yeah, that's why the sound effects are so cool. It was literally like almost like a practice project because Carmageddon was a freaking cool game.
I think I've seen LGR play Carmageddon or something like that. Mm-hmm. But no, Crystal Quest, I highly recommend it. If it rings a bell to anybody listening, go grab it on Steam. It's probably not a ton of money. Wait, I already Googled it at some point, so let's just pull that up real quick.
It's anywhere between $1 and it's around $1. If it's not on sale, it's a bit more.
It's a Canadian dollar. It's nothing. Mm-hmm. 99 cents. Or maybe that's a spring sale thing because it does say save 80%. But look, if you're saving 80%, it's under $5, and it's fun for at least 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So that ratio works out more or less.
It's like you ever watched a group of kids play old games? Like I'll pull out the old Nintendo. I have all the classic systems, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, whatever. And on the original Nintendo and the original Sega, you've got about like a 10 to 15 minute max on each game. When Jacob has a friend over, it's even less so. It's like, oh, okay. So you end up with like, they'll have a big stack of games next to them. They've played through all of them. It's been only an hour. It's like, that's not how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. You little idiots.
Little heathens. All right, so next on my list is essentially the second game I played, and you hear noises because I have the big box for my next game. Very exciting.
Yeah, this is the AP, MSR, ASMR
Yes.
segment.
And the reason it's important to have this box is because the feelies in it and the connections. So the game I'm talking about is Sierra Championship Boxing, which is a 1983 game by Everywhere. Now, why is the name Everywhere familiar? Well, you might have heard it from a series called Manhunter, because that's the Murrays, the brothers and the sister, they're the ones that had Everywhere going. So anyways, this is the first game, and they did it in contract with Sierra. And it was released on a whole bunch of different systems, but I ended up getting it when we first got our first IBM PC, so I think it wasn't until 85 or so. But anyways, it's cool because you get a little, well, for one, in the box, you can hear how excited I am. You get 4 books. You get a history of boxing, how to play, a programming guide, and a boxing clinic. So it's a Sierra Championship Boxing Clinic. It's got illustrations like how to perform a jab, a hook, or an uppercut, docking and counter punching, and they actually had it, written by a boxer for them, the World Boxing Council and stuff, which is really cool. And okay, so you start the game and you're in like almost like a beginning screen, like you would get, say, in Donald Duck's Playground. You can pick your place to go into. And so, like, for example, in one, you can create your own character and have them go boxing in the other rounds. In another, you can even pick your own players and do simulated matches. So you don't even play. And then you can just do home bets on who's going to be a win. You can pick real fighters from different eras, or you can make up your own. And anyways, originally this game was going to come out with Microsoft, and they turned it down. Microsoft just like, nobody's going to want this. The market's too small. So you can imagine Sierra being like, oh, too small, you say. Nobody else wants it, you say. So he ended up offering the contract to Everywhere, which is kind of where the relationship with them began. But the trickiest thing is if you get really far in the game, you end up having to fight the kangaroo. And the kangaroo is like the Mike Tyson of the Sierra Championship Boxing. So even if you don't know the game, you might have heard reference to the kangaroo.
It feels familiar.
Because of me, probably.
Right, that's fair.
Yeah. So,
Is
but
it
anyways,
on the box
a
still? Isn't that's a tough box to get a hold of, I imagine, right? Because that's like 81.
It is. Yeah, 83. And the kangaroo is on the back of the box. I used to love boxing games, and this was my very first boxing game, and I spent so much time with it, and it ended up turning into a long love for boxing games. I even helped my boyfriend stay up all night one day when we were teenagers, and he managed to finish Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
Love it. I can hear it now. Dion and the Belmonts playing in the background.
Were you there? Oh my God. So yeah, that's my next pick. I don't even know. You can probably play it online. I'm not very helpful as far as games you can actually get out there and play, but it's, a lot of those vintage sites where they have like the DOS things, you can just load it up and play it in the browser, and this is probably another one of them. But it is a good time for an early boxing game. It's quite impressive.
Well, I know you Canadians love boxing because you even have a day about it.
Yeah, we do. Where everybody goes, and we used to line up at the store at 3 in the morning at
and just fight each other
Sound.
infamously. Yeah.
With boxing gloves. Yeah, it's like in America, y'all have like tailgate parties, and in Canada, we just box in lineups.
Yeah, it's like a Canadian purge. You just get it out of your system. Yeah, I respect that.
And everyone takes a shot of maple syrup at the door. It's like it never happened.
Good. Okay, we got through. We're almost done. Well,
I'm on number 2.
we're good. We're okay. What are the things you tell yourself in school? I'm almost halfway there.
That's right.
That was what I would say if I was looking at the clock in math class. Okay, next one is, for me, is another Mac game, but this one got ported to all the systems. Atari, Amiga, PC-98, MS-DOS, Famicom, etc. I'm looking at the wiki page. It's also by Broderbund. Mm-hmm. Can you say it for us?
Broderbund. You want me to do it my original way?
Yeah, I like the Canadian way.
You like that? Broderbund.
Damn, no, you're aware of what I'm doing, so you've subconsciously masked it. Yeah, that's okay.
Do it.
Everybody, rewind to the beginning. We're started over. The way
There's
she
a
says
timestamp for you.
It's beautiful. It's like Broderbund. I can't do Canadian, especially
No.
to a Canadian's face. You know, it makes you clam up a little bit. Okay, all right. Shufflepuck Cafe. This is my choice. Have you played Shufflepuck Cafe?
It doesn't sound all that familiar.
Okay,
Let's
do a
see.
quick
Describe.
search while I say stuff about
Oh,
it.
it looks like Guitar Hero?
Because no, is it swing and a miss? But
It's like a shuffleboard, right? I'm just saying it looks like the same layout as Guitar Hero. Google it.
Right.
Just look at the pictures.
Just-
It totally does.
Just imagine that Guitar Hero was, instead of Guitar Hero, was a Shufflepuck game.
No, I assure you, I have never seen this game in my life.
Well, you should have, because it's a great time. The box art is amazing. The box art is ingrained in my memory.
Oh, it's air hockey. Oh, cute. I used to play real air hockey as a kid, but
Right, which checks out. Again, it's a very, very Canadian-heavy episode today.
they were all in every movie theater and in every arcade. There was always air hockey tables.
Okay, well, all right, hold on, because that's interesting. We definitely in every arcade.
Oh my God, we've never done an
episode.
episode of, in every movie theater. We've definitely never done an episode about arcade games, like in arcades. Did you ever go to arcades growing up?
I did. Well, my bowling alley was my arcade. I think that counts.
That does count.
It had its own little section, arcadey section. Yeah.
Maybe one day. It's a good idea generating podcast episode. Anyways, this game looks cute. I'm kind of watching a little video of it here. That's fun little characters that you have to play against.
Yeah, you have to play. There's a story in the same way that Choplifter has a story, which is you're stranded on an alien thing and you have to make a phone call, and all these dicks won't let you make a phone call until you beat them all. So you got to beat them all, and then you get to leave. And it's fun, and that's probably all I need to say about it. It's a good time. At least it was in 1989. The end.
All right.
I played it on the. Sorry, I do have more to say. I played it on the Macintosh, so it was black and white. And back in my day, we had playing games was a chore.
It was work to play a game.
It was work. You weren't gonna like it. The graphics were hard to take, but it was fun. So yeah, the end. Okay, I'm done.
That's right. The last game, it was on amber monochrome, and this game as well, which is the other game I have a box for, and that's another everywhere game because I love everywhere games. I think they're just such a talented group of people. But this one,
I like the punny name because I'm assuming it's where, like software.
yeah, it is everywhere like software.
There was more of that back in the day. Like there was
There
a lot of
sure was.
software-related game publishers.
So yes, the game I'm talking about is a game I've done a whole podcast episode on, but Paul wouldn't know because he wasn't there at the time. But that is The Ancient Art of War. And that was sort of way back when I first came on the podcast. But I got this game right when it came out, right around, well, it came out in 84. I probably got it in 87. And it's a real-time tactics game. It's a battlefield simulation, but the whole thing is inspired by Sun Tzu's Ancient Art of War, which I think that was written in, I don't know, like the BC, 400 BC, way, way back in the when. And so the manual actually comes with quotes straight out of the Ancient Art of War, a description of the military analysis, and then a history of war through the ages, as well as war terminology at the end of the book. And it's kind of like, it's essentially like capture the flag, but it uses a rock, paper, scissors system. Like knights will always beat a barbarian, obviously, but barbarians are always going to win over archers, and archers are used as, good offense against knights if you're defending forts, things like that. You have spies, and they don't fight, but they can see twice as far as anybody else because the screen's kind of, you got to open up the screen as you come across because you don't know what else is there. It's got these great little like click, doop, doop sound effects as you're going around too. But anyways, so you get to choose your AI opponent. So you're picking different historical figures like Geronimo or Sun Tzu, and one of the ones you can pick is Crazy Ivan. And he's great because he's unpredictable but wild and has no actual strategy. So I would always pick him to be the bad guy because he'd be really, really smart one move, but then he'd suck and do something absolutely terrible on the next move.
Classic Ivan.
Yeah, totally. But the box is beautiful. There's a Chinese silk screening print on the front of the box that's just, copied of it. But yeah, it's all divided into terrain. It's really the beginning of my love for games like Warcraft and StarCraft and that whole genre of strategy games. This is like a gateway drug. And the battle, like when you're doing the strategy on the map, you're just these little people, like almost stick figures that are on the map. But when you actually go into a fight down on the ground, it would zoom in, so you could see all your different army, and you could lay them out strategically and fight. But then it would kind of auto battle depending on all the criteria that you picked. So you weren't like individually making the guy hit. It was like a melee.
Ugh,
that word.
You're using all the wrong words here. Criteria.
I like a game with a lot of rules. I can't help it.
Jesus.
Yeah. But anyways, it's a beautiful game. It's super duper smart. It's super duper beautiful. It's all real time, and it has any game based on like military strategies has got to be a cool one. So if you've never played it, even just take a second to go online. I also have Ancient Art at Sea and Ancient Art of War in the Skies, which are later ones. So in the sea battle, for example, you'd find other ships and you'd battle with them on the dock of the ship. Same with the air one. So there's a whole little series of them.
Whew, that was tough. That was an exercise in patience.
I have never in my life, and I would love to hear differently, ever met a girl who loves games like Ancient Art of War or Sierra Boxing. And I don't want to say I'm the only one, and God help me, I don't think I am. But I'd love just once somewhere randomly to have a conversation with another girl that said, I know, I always picked Crazy Ivan too.
Right, and then you get stuck with one of the few dudes who's like, I hard pass on all the war and strategy stuff. You had me at gateway drug, and you lost me at criteria.
Right. No, I get that. But the point is, it's a beautiful game, and the Murrays they were talented working together. I think Dee Dee Murray still does animal pictures, calendars and things, photography. She's a super talented photographer.
Wait, one's a girl?
Yeah, well, there's Dave Murray and Barry Murray, but a lot of the art was done by Dee Dee. They just didn't put her name onto most of them until it got a little bit later.
Okay, are they all siblings, or is she married to one of the two?
They're all siblings.
Weird.
Which is why I think it's so cool.
Cool, but weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of them's passed now. I can't remember. I think it might be Dave, or I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared for telling that. But yeah otherwise.
Hey, I didn't ask, for the record.
No, I said it. It's me. I gave it to myself. Anyways, what's your next pick?
Yeah, sorry, I caught me off guard there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm finding a way to enjoy this episode, all right?
I knew you would.
I'm going to go back to Shufflepot Cafe for a minute, because it's come to my attention the names of the characters. And I will say, to Anna's point earlier, that the games back in the day, I feel like they made, like, even the games without, let's say, a story, made more of an effort. Like, there was always lore. Even like on the most paper-thin premise, there was still lore, and all the characters had names that you can tell the developer like obsessed over and thought out and scribbled down feverishly into his notebook pad, like, oh, and this will be that guy. So some of the characters in Thimbleweed, in Shufflepot Cafe, that was quite a crossing of circuits there. Error. Okay, please everyone enjoy how 80s these names are. Skip Feeney, good old Skip, a short human male in his early 20s. Vizine Orb, who is an alien. Vinny the Dweeb. Dweeb is another just word that's waiting, it's rearing for a comeback. Lexon Smythe Worthington, which is funny because he's filthy rich. So I like how they gave him Worthington considering he's rich. And I also appreciate how back in this era we used to say filthy rich. You don't really hear that too much anymore. He's filthy rich. The General, also known as Eneg Dewdrop or Dewtwop, but also Biff. Biff
Right.
Ranch. There's a Biff in the game. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. We got a dweeb, you got a Biff, you got a Skip. It's all too much. It's so on brand for 1989. And I'm all done with that. Okay, next one is Glider. This is also a Macintosh game, and it was really fun, and it was on iOS and Mac OS, but it's not. It needs to be updated because it doesn't work on either anymore, which is sad. I might even write the developer after this episode. Like, I think I'm going to, just to give him a little nudge, just to be like, I care. I care. If you do this, if you spend countless hours updating this app, I will play it at least 3 times while making a bowel movement in the future. That is a promise, hardcore. But anyway, Glider is a paper airplane that's making its way across the house, and it's really fun. Like, it's really fun. I don't see anything about this game that couldn't rival that of, like, the premise of Angry Birds and Doodle Jump and all those early mobile games, because it has the same addictive, fun premise where your paper airplane, you go across the screen, you have to make it from air vent to air vent. That's how you stay up in the air. And then you have to dodge things in your way, like countertops and lamps and household items. Some of the air vents are on the roof and they push you down. And so that's, bad because you get to the ground quicker. And that's essentially it. I mean, it's just, obstacles, you move from room to room. And yeah, I don't know how to...
Well, it looks cute. I'm just looking at it now, though. That's kind of adorable.
Oh, and then, okay, so if anybody ever wants to check out these games, and frankly, why would you? But if you did, or if you grew up with Macintosh games or Apple II GS games, actually, I think maybe just Macintosh games, a lot of these games still work on Mac OS 9. If you are interested in that, I'm probably going to put a link in the thing below, just the description, because the last few episodes I've said I was going to do that, I actually did, so that gives me hope. The future me will do this. I'll link 2 different Mac emulators. One of them is the Mac OS 9 emulator. That will work with Glider. It might work with the other 2. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But it's really cool because it's just like a one-click download. You don't need like ROMs. You don't need any like the usual BS with emulators. You just download it and it's a Mac app and it launches Mac OS 9. And it has a really smart file sharing system so you can get, you can put files into the emulator pretty easily. And so anyway, I'll put that in the description below. I think it only works on Mac. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to put that in the description. And there's another Mac emulator that I will also put in there too. And
as of 2020, a fan, John Calhoun, ended up... what did he do? He ended up putting together a JavaScript version of the Mac game. Mac game you can just download on GitHub, actually. But for the Glider 4.0, which is the one that came out on both Windows and Mac.
Interesting. So he's got a Java you can get on GitHub?
Yeah, I'll just send you the link in case you're interested or wanting to share it with somebody listening.
Yeah, definitely have to check that out. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
yeah, that looks like a cute little game. That's actually kind of adorable. I love the bathroom. That's a cute room.
It has really good music too. I think it's just like one song, but man, it's really good. Like I can still hum it now, even from all the way back in the day. So,
sure.
Thank you. Sure you can.
No, I mean I was saying sure as in let's hear it. That's what that was meant to be.
Oh no! Oh goodness, absolutely, absolutely not. No.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm done.
You're done.
Yeah.
So the next game is a game that I almost forgot to put on this list, but my friend Jess, who I was talking about this episode, she said, hang on, do you have Karateka on this list? And I'm like, oh shit, I don't, because I love that game. And like, it's that little like do-do-do-do, like the little beginning thing gets stuck in your head.
That sounded
so
like
good.
Prince of Persia, which is impressive because it's both Jordan.
They're both, Jordan Mechner. So he's absolutely amazing. And it was cool because it was told cinematic storytelling. It was all told through cutscenes. So you've got like your, I think it was Mariko and Akuma and the the lady and the guy with the bird, and what would happen is you'd have to go up to fight, but you're in the walking stance. But as soon as you see your opponent, you have to get into the fighting stance, because if you don't, they will kill you in a one-shot hit. But if you don't run as far, you'll end up having to fight more bad guys before you get to the next one. But also, your health can regenerate a little bit while you're waiting. But the other thing is there's like this trained hawk. So even when you think you're killing it with these guys, this hawk will come up and like make the screechy noise and try to poke your eye out. But anyways, yeah, the game's great. If you go to the end of the girl and you end up going to the girl, spoiler, you're in a fighting stance, she'll just like kick your ass and you'll die immediately, which is amazing. But the fun thing is, if you were to play it on Apple instead of PC, of course I played it on PC, there was a hidden upside down version of the whole game that was hidden on the floppy disk, and customers kept calling tech support because they'd accidentally get into it and think that the disk was broken.
Wow, God, that does beg the question why on that one. That's a really strange drug-induced decision.
But he was in college, right? So he was doing
Checks
it as a
out.
side project when he was in Yale University, and he kind of was inspired by like Disney animation or Akira Kurosawa's movies, things like that. It's that whole cinematic feel, and it gave him the beginnings with the rotoscoped animation, because of course we know with Prince of Persia that ended up being footage of his brother. Well, in the animations in this game were actually footage of his karate instructor. So you brought in a little bit of that real life dynamic. All of the music was composed by Jordan's father. So Francis, he did the music for the game, it is so memorable and just such a great pleasure to hear. It ended up becoming really super popular. They didn't even know it was going to happen. They didn't even think it was going to be a big deal. But they ended up giving the main guy blonde hair, because even though it was supposed to be in Japan, because he was really into mangas and things at the time. And in mangas, traditionally, the main characters would have blonde hair and have the Western influenced.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. That's right. Immediately makes sense when you just start imagining a flood of anime characters with blonde hair. Never
So you
even
can
thought
get
about
it.
that.
You can get the app. The whole game is in the app. It's got the music. You can even change it to different graphic styles. Like I remember Amber Monochrome. It has that. It has black and white. It has the Apple CGA colors. You can play it in all those different ways. The music's all there. It's great. They also did like a high HD remake later on, but it has rhythm-based combat. But that was in 2012.
Okay.
But Mechner was involved in that as well. I mean, Jordan has just been out there in the community. Now there's documentaries and interviews and TV shows, because I'm not getting into it in this episode because I had to limit myself. But Prince of Persia is definitely another one that would be on my list.
Yeah, I got you covered. I got Prince of Persia.
Oh, thank goodness,
Yeah.
because I spent so much time with that
Same.
game. Oh my God. So yeah, please, you're next. Go.
Yeah, I spent more time with Prince of Persia than possibly many of these other games. It was on Apple IIgs, and we had a better version, Jesus.
It's more better,
Mo
more better,
better.
more money, more better.
It was a better looking version than the DOS version. I just a few years ago, I was probably 6 or 7 years ago, but when I was building that 486 and going through DOS Renaissance, I put on Prince of Persia and was just like, why aren't I getting like the dopamine hit? Where's that nostalgic rush? It wasn't coming. I'm like, this isn't my Prince of Persia. And then with some short digging, the Apple version, it had better graphics. I don't know if I remember this correctly, but actually, I'm gonna just go ahead and.
Did you play the original on Apple?
I did, and I'm about to make sense of it all, I assure
Good.
you. Okay, yeah. The Apple version had Prince of Persia 2 graphics.
That's why, because I'm looking at these and I'm like, this doesn't look anything like what I remember.
Right, we're having the opposite moment. And good, thank you for looking that up, because I was starting to lose faith in myself there, so that confirms it. Yeah, so the Apple version looked like Prince of Persia 2, where you have the blue head wrap and the red shirt and the white pants, and it's just like a little sharper, everything just looks a little nicer than the DOS Prince of Persia 1 version.
Is it not the second Prince of Persia, though? They just remade the second one? Because there is Prince of Persia 2 that looks much like Prince of Persia 2.
It's definitely not 2, because you start off in the dungeon. Yeah, it's definitely... It might even just... No, the whole thing is definitely redone. I was going to say it might just be his sprite, but it's not. It's the whole game. So it's Prince of Persia. Let's put it this way. The Apple version is Prince of Persia 1 with higher res backgrounds, and the prince's avatar is that of Prince of Persia 2.
Okay. Interesting. I like that kind of thing. I like how they do that, bring things back and change up graphics and things. I thought such a fun game, such cool mechanics, and so frustrating. And yet, I don't know, I don't remember running around the house yelling in frustration at that one. I think it was good.
Yeah, it was in the pocket, right. The bendiness of his movements was
Yeah.
always the thing that kind of screwed you, where you'd slightly
Yeah.
overstep, and but it was not too frustrating to where you. It's not a game. It was a product of its time. I wouldn't have the patience for it now. Like, it had to have been the only game you had to play with for a while, because if you could. If you could rage quit off to a library of 1,000 Steam games, it wouldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been finished. Okay, so Prince of Persia, and I'm all done with Macintosh stuff. We're getting to the era where my family switched to Windows because of 95.
And I've made it all the way up to 1984. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to make more episodes like this happen. But okay, so my next one is Tapper. You ever played Tapper? Beer Tapper specifically?
No.
Okay, so that's done by Bally Midway, and it's a game where you're serving customers. So it's like you've got all these long bars, and you're the bartender at the end. And if they order a drink, you have to pour a beer and send it down the line to the table. And then when they leave money, you need to pick it up. And when the beer is empty, they'll send it back to the other end of the table. And if you don't catch it, it smashes on the ground and you end your turn. And there's a can dancers at the front of the screen. And every time the can dancers dance, a bunch of the customers will turn and look, which means they either won't grab the beer if you've sent them one, or, you can't give them one anymore. So you'd lose your game. So anyways, those are all the things that get you to miss a life. There's a Western bar, sports bars, punk rock bars, space bars. It gets faster and faster and faster. And in between games, it's my favorite little part, there's like this little dude, and he picks up one beer and he'll shake it. And there's like 4 or 5 beers on the table. And then he'll move them around doing this do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do. And then he'll move them all around, and you have to pick the one beer that was shaken to get extra points in between the levels.
I appreciate your rendition there.
Yeah, it was fun.
I feel like, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like these are the exact kind of games where there's all these really cool levels, and as a kid I was always really excited to see like one level specifically, like, I want to get to the punk level 8, so that's my goal. And then by like the 3rd level, the speed is so insane that you're like, I'll never see the 4th level, much less the end of this game.
Exactly, and then you do get there once, but it's just you die right after, and then you can't get back.
Right.
It's totally one of those games. It gets really, really fast. Now, again, the gameplay seems faster. When I played it on my original computer, it was probably slower, which meant the game probably ran slower as well.
That's interesting, because this was an arcade game as well, right?
Yeah, it was in an arcade game, and they actually used, I think it was Budweiser themselves. They ended up designing the unit, and it would actually have a real beer pull tapper on it, so you'd be able to draw the beers.
Right, that's right.
Yeah,
I remember
it was
that.
like a whole thing. Yeah, it was a cool one too.
Very cool.
I never played it in the arcade, but I played it at home a lot. My dad and I would both play it. So it's just one of those, like, going back to childhood, I would still love to get the big box for it, but I don't have it kind of a game.
And the barkeep looked like Mario?
Yeah, he kind of looked like Mario, had like a round face, yep.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I'm not sure if I've ever once played it, which is weird.
That's a really great game. It's satisfying. Even, like, you can play this one online. It's on the Internet Archive, or whatever. You can play it right in the browser. ClassicReload.com or any one of those.
Right.
Yeah, it's all around out there.
All right, next game, unless you want to tapper, if you have any more.
No, I'm all tappered out.
Righty. Man.
Walked into it.
I don't know why I even went back. I should, jeez Louise. Okay. Man, you're proud of that too. I can hear it in the laugh. You should be.
I'm gloating and my cheeks are rosy. It's the whole thing.
Right. Like a literal high. Simant.
Ooh, that one was going to go on, but I decided not to do sim games because then I just have too many games to talk about. So thank you. I have the big box for that.
Man,
and a shirt. I have the shirt.
You have the shirt? Lucky.
I do.
Dude, very cool. I love this game, and that's the extent of what I probably have to say about it.
No,
You're
we
an
need to
ant.
hear more.
And you simulate the process. No, I played this game a lot, and it's super fun. And I like Sim Earth too. No, not Sim Earth. I didn't play Sim Earth. I like Sim City too. That was fun. I remember that must have been Macintosh too, because my memory of it is in black and white.
Did you ever get to the house in Sim Ant, though?
I don't know.
Because that was the goal. You were essentially trying to make it, it's like grid-like pattern, and you're on
Right.
one side of the lawn, and you have to make it to the other side, but then you've got red ants to contend with and the gigantic spider jerk.
Right, exactly. Everybody just act like that giant saw thing didn't happen.
Sorry, that was... I have no
Or
idea
that
what
one.
that is.
Yeah,
or
me
why
neither.
it's
That is
happening.
weird. Something in our connection.
No, that is literally outside. Somebody's using a giant saw in the neighbor's property.
We're just trying to set the scene. You're in the backyard on a Sunday. You're an ant.
Yes.
The neighbor's sawing some stuff.
It's very much takes me to like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of like a
Yeah.
concept, except I think this game came out first.
91.
Yeah.
I don't know when Honey, whatever the kids did though. But yeah, like you said, there was a war with the red ants. There were the giant spiders. There was the rain, the lawnmower.
89, so it came out after. Okay.
Okay. I wonder if it inspired it in a sense.
Yeah.
Not that it's that close to it, but just seeing those giant ants and
Yeah, the rain and setting up your tunnel system underground and having more little ant babies and
Right, that's right. And then you drink the little juice, the little nutrient, the little green nutrient
Yeah.
things. It was so
Yeah.
satisfying. And the queen,
So satisfying.
the queen ant was always all bulbous and gross, and yeah, it was super fun. I remember I had to make a log cabin for a school project, and my dad made it for me. Essentially, I've never been a handyman. Made it out of like dowels, I guess you'd call them, and he printed out, in our 1991 dot matrix, whatever. Actually, I'm sure it was beyond dot matrix, but he printed out a screenshot from SimAnt and glued that to the cardboard that he put the log cabin on, so it gave it like this cool, according to 1991, realistic kind of dirt vibe. And yeah,
man.
that's a potent memory.
that is so cool though. Like I don't know that anybody else on earth has a memory like that. Paul, I think that is yours. Like to
That one's
cherish
mine.
and to have. That is honestly, that's amazing.
That log cabin was suspiciously good. It like the 90-degree angles on that. The teacher must have looked me in the eyes and been like, "Yeah, you didn't make this shit.
There's no way.
There's no way." Okay, that's it. That's my Sim story. Because like I said, SimCity was good too. I remember playing it in black and white and making the natural disasters happen, like 90% chance of Godzilla or whatever. And yeah, but SimAnt was the one for me. I liked that a lot better.
Okay, the next game, this is my second to last game, and I'm super excited about it because it's a Canadian classic, and that would be Cross Country Canada. Have you heard of that one?
Yes.
Thank you. So I actually made my friend Roberta play this last time I was visiting
Oh,
the
poor Roberta.
States.
Jeez.
But yeah, it was 1986. It's by Didotech Software, and it was later ported to DOS, I think, a little bit later. Okay, I see. But anyways, text-based educational game, because I played it on Apple. It was my friend Julie. who
You're
had the
fighting an
Apple
uphill
computer.
battle here.
It's true. No, I played this on an Apple computer. That
yay.
was... Yeah, no, I DOS, this didn't come out till DOS till later, and I never played it on DOS. But anyways, I'd go over to her house when I was in grade 6 and grade 7, and we'd play this game endlessly. So you're Mr. Trucker, and you're delivering goods across Canada, and it'll be like, you have to get, sorry about the noise, you have to get potatoes from PEI, for example. So you have to put on your seatbelt and turn on your truck and drive and turn on the windshield wipers and go to a restaurant when you're hungry and sleep if you're tired in a hotel, or if there's no hotel, you have to sleep in your truck. You have to manage your fuel and your navigation, your resources, which direction you're going, north, west, south, east. You have to figure out where the resources come from. And you can pick up a hitchhiker, but they'll usually they'll
there was
rob you.
whores?
Yeah, you'll get robbed.
Oh.
That's what'll happen. But it's the beginning of what became modern truck simulators later on. It was the reason a lot of kids found it is it was a staple of Canadian computer labs. They were literally given to like every computer lab ever. I never played it at school. I played it at a friend's house, but you can get this, you can play it. It's for free on the Internet Archive or on Classic Reload. And one of these days, Paul, maybe I'll get you to play this with me. It is actually legitimately a good game. And they did other ones. There's Cross Country USA. There's other ones out there.
Was it a logging truck?
It was a gigantic. No, it was one of those long. Yeah, not a logging truck.
But a truck that holds logs. You know.
You could.
Okay.
If you
'Cause
put
they're
logs
long.
in it. It was long.
Yeah. That sounds like a truck.
It was definitely. And then if you get in an accident because you fell asleep and you were tired, you'll get like the cracked windshield and.
Right, those I get it though. Those were big deals at the time. We're like,
They
whoa,
were.
the windshield's cracked. You guys, we're really in it now. We messed up. We didn't. So you would fall asleep if you didn't sleep enough.
Right. You
Right.
would fall asleep if you didn't sleep enough, and if you slept on the side of the road, you wouldn't get as good of a sleep, or you could even, something could happen.
Yeah, that sounds like 1980 fun.
Yeah, super 1986. Hard fun for
I was
sure.
hoping you'd say yes, it was a logging truck, because then I could have tied in your background noise to.
Oh yeah, no. Turns
like,
out that's coming from my own house.
We're setting the scene, and oh, okay. Well, she has muted herself. Which is weird because I know she can hear me, but it feels like she can't. That's why I immediately switched to referring to her as she.
It's coming from my kitchen, so I can't even say anything right now. It's my own fault.
That's fair. Yeah, we don't. Okay, well, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to some honorable mentions.
Okay, and I have one more. So
okay.
you do your honorable mentions. I'll do one more, and then we will escape.
Okay, honorable mention to James Pond 2 Robocod.
Nice.
Man, that's a fun game for 20 minutes. The way he stretches, that's like his superpower is that he can extend himself by a few inches, and like if things were slightly out of reach before, well, now you just might be able to get them. Another honorable mention goes to Mega Man, specifically Mega Man 2.
That's a good one. I love Mega Man 2. Oh,
that was
yeah.
that was the Mega Man.
That feels good. Yeah.
I was looking at the foes, the enemies in Mega Man 2 and 3 because I wasn't sure if it was 2 or 3 that I was getting the nostalgia from. It's definitely 2. But looking at 2 and 3, there's a lot of sexual tension in the names. There's Hard Man, there's Bottom Man, there's Top Man. Wait, there might not be a Bottom Man. No, there's not. Okay, I did make that up. Sorry.
The bottom man is D. Willie or whatever, right?
Right, there's
Wiley?
Dr.
Yeah,
Willie.
yeah.
Oh, it is Wiley. Okay, well, there's no E, so we could say it is Willie. But there is a Top Man. There's a Snake Man. There's Needle Man, which that's a little more. There's Quick Man. We all know one of those. Am I right, ladies? There's yeah, okay, that's all the sexual ones.
No, there's Woodman.
Oh my
That one's
God! Right, there's
sexual.
Wood and Heat Man. I mean, he brings the heat.
Oh my God, so good.
Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. Okay, yeah, that's all the funny ones. So that being said, another honorable mention is Mega Man 2. That's great. Love that one. I like that one better than the others. We both do. We decided. I've got 2 racing games. We'll just save for a racing episode one day.
Good idea.
Another one, Anna and I will maybe one day do an episode on is Red Dead Redemption 2 because that is my favorite non-adventure game easily. I think it's only fair that I play all of the Quest for Glories in order to have Anna do the rest of Red Dead because she did start it.
Oh
She's like a good 5-10 hours into it.
I did. Even more than that, maybe. I was playing Quest for Glory 1, and I was gonna I'm gonna record this and I'll show Paul, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna let him get off that easy. He's not gonna scrub through this bloody playthrough, so I stopped.
Right. Yeah.
it's just, there's a lot. And I was like, well, then what does he want to see? Does he want to see me as a thief to break into places he wouldn't know? Does he want to see me as a magic user to use magic? Does he want to see me as a fighter, slice and dice, turn into a paladin? I don't even know.
Right. This is all very sensual and voyeuristic sounding. Okay, well, it's all because of Fast Man and you saying I wasn't going to get him off that easy or something like that. Maybe, actually, now that I said it out loud, that's probably definitely not what you said. But look, the pieces are all there. Everyone can put it together if they want to. Something, 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 ejaculation. I'm all done.
That's usually how it finishes.
Yeah.
But are you done? Because I have another actual game.
Oh, and then the last one, because those are my honorable mentions, and then my last one is Grand Theft Auto 1.
Ooh, overhead driving.
Yes, exactly. Top
Nice.
down, original Grand Theft Auto 1. Rushing home from school in 6th grade to play with my friend Mike Lefkowitz.
I've never played that one.
It was so much fun. It was the first time that you could do the wrong things. You know, like you could...
Naughty.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was, the first time you could do bad things in a game. And
Right.
so it was amazing. The end.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it on the computer. I installed GTA 1 because I actually have the collection on disc. And it's got like a UK map and stuff in it. And I installed
Right.
the first one on the computer a couple of months ago. Jacob had a friend over and I played it for a bit. And I'm like, here, check this out. You keep telling me you want to play Grand Theft Auto. Here's your chance.
Right.
So he jumps onto it and he's like, this is not what I'm looking for at all. I'm like, dude, this game is really badass. He's like, maybe another time. I'm like, well, maybe your friend will want to play. And his friend was just like, no, that's okay. I'm like, here I am offering GTA to the kids and like no one's taking me up on it.
Well played. I like that.
Why, thank you.
Well played, yeah.
So great game. It has a map. They all have maps. I collect them. I have all of them. I even have the 5th one in a sealed small box.
Yes, great game. The second one took place in the UK, and the first one, did not.
Nope.
And they're fun. They work on a Pentium 2. It struggles, but it works.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, so here's one I almost forgot, and then it popped into my head, and I was like, oh my god, if I'm doing the early 80s, I cannot miss out on California Games.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good choice.
I love that game. And so here you're doing the half pipe, you're doing the foot bag. I don't know where it's called foot bag. Here we call it hacky sack. I called it hacky sack then. I call it hacky sack now. Anyway, surfing, roller skating, BMX, and they call it flying disc. I guess because it's the Olympics. I would call it frisbee.
Probably copyright.
But the roller skating one's actually kind of satisfying too. But they did really great. They did a summer games and they did a winter games, and they were really successful. So, but it had beautiful animation. There was like multiplayer modes where you could play and challenge your friends, and it would keep track of everything. The game was a hit. It sold 500,000 copies in like the 2 years after it was released, and again, it was that for Epics, because this is an Epics game. It was a really, really big deal. And I still love to hacky sack. I have a foot bag or two around the house, I mean, it's a satisfying game. I spent a lot of time working on that game.
I always wanted to be able to hacky sack. I never put the work in, though.
Oh, yeah. What I did is whenever I'd take my kids to school, I'd always stick a hacky sack in my pocket. And we'd play when we were waiting for school to start when they were little. And it was great because other kids would always join in and say, hey, can I try? So the next thing you know, you're backing off and your kid's playing with other kids and they're hacky sacking and they're making friends.
Nice.
So the coolest thing about this game is if you're in the game and you're doing the BMX, every time you die, it makes fun of you. So I played through it a couple of times just so I could get some of the insults for you. It's oof, bummer, dorky, that's the brakes, get training wheels, you really goofed, and faceplant, dude.
Nice.
Just so of its time. And I mean, I didn't bring up Tubin. Tubin would be my honorable mention. And I think we had a brief conversation about that. But it's just you're in these like inner tubes and you have to like go down these waterways and and the main guy would be like, radical, tubular. But yeah, they even call it, like, if you're in the BMX, they call it biffing. Like, it's just,
Wow.
You biffed.
You biffed
Like,
it, bro.
I haven't seen that in so long. But yeah, it's a great game. I have so much nostalgia for it, and I don't even think I've ever had the big box. I think it was just I had a random disc of it somewhere for whatever reason. So
Wait, was this PC? I only thought it was on Nintendo.
it was on PC. Yes,
Mega.
MS-DOS.
Cool. I
Various
didn't know
other-
that. I thought it was. I had it on one of the consoles.
No, I never
One of my
had it on a
brother's consoles.
console.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Sega or Nintendo, but whatever.
Whatever. So
Okay, so we're all done. So
we're all done.
I'm gonna say stuff, and then Adam's gonna say stuff, and then we're gonna leave you alone.
They're like, thank goodness. Oh my God. You know, this was supposed to be a quick episode, guys. I was like, 30 minutes. We're just going to like, done.
Yeah, we made it last. I'm out. I'm completely out of non-adventure games, but I was, you know.
I have so many more.
I have some racing games, and then a lot to say about Red Dead, and that's it. Okay, so other stuff to say. One, thanks for listening. Oh, wait, that's Anna's job. She's okay. I still mean it though. I don't have to take it back. I wanted to say thank you to John Betton. Maybe it's Beaton. It's probably Betton because there's no A. Doesn't matter. John Betton left an awesome 5-star review for Phantom Fellows on GOG, and it was really sweet, and he indicated that he listens to the podcast in the review. So if you're listening, John, thank you so much for the review. It means the absolute world to me. It's extremely motivating as I begin the second game. And then to anybody listening who has played the game, thank you. And if you haven't left a review, please do so because they really, really help. Could use some reviews, really on both platforms. GOG and Steam could both use them. So if I may be so bold, if you've left one on Steam and you have it on the other platform, leave it on there. But then again, now they say it out loud, why would you have it on both? That doesn't really, that's not super frugal.
It's a subliminal message telling you to buy it on each of the platforms.
The Jew in me doesn't like that message, though. He's like, it doesn't make any sense, though. Okay, thank you to anybody who's been playing it. I would appreciate and love reviews. If you haven't, this is your friendly leave a review reminder. But mostly thank you to everybody who's listening to it. John Beaton, probably Betton, because Beaton sounds like getting a beating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably, look, John, my guy. If you would like a free copy of the soundtrack, send me a message at our email or a DM on Twitter or one of the places that you can get a hold of us, and I'll tell you all about that, and I'd be happy to send you a copy of the soundtrack for your super awesome review. And other than that, there's a Phantom Fellows pin or magnet now available thanks to our friend Tom, CanvasQuest Tom. So if you go to Etsy and go to CanvasQuest, I'm sure virtually all of you know CanvasQuest. There's a Phantom Fellows pin, and it's really exciting and super adorable.
We'll link you.
Yeah, that's right. I'll link it in the thingy below. That's right. We'll leave a link below so you could support both Tom and myself by grabbing a Phantom Fellows pin. And I think that's all of my little things I wanted to say. Yeah.
Okay. You're good then.
There was one more. Anna and I have not forgotten the Return to Monkey Island episode. There'll be another link in the description below for our live stream playthrough of two or 3 hours of the game with our friend Daniel Alwu on Conversations with Curtis. Anna and I had a lot of fun playing with Daniel, playing through the first part of Return to Monkey Island. Now we're going to finish the game here soon, let's say, and get an episode out on that eventually. The episode, it was not looking great for a second there, and there's been life breathed into it, so now it is definitely going to happen soonish. And also check out our live stream because that was fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm done.
All right, and yeah. So thank you very much to our Patreoners. We have a new Patreon person as well this month, and that is Yanis. Thank you so much for joining the True Believer section. You also have written some very nice messages just saying that you've enjoyed listening to the show, and it means a lot to the both of us, and thank you to all of you. But yes, I appreciate that very much. Also, thank you to
Gareth.
Thank you. Oh, yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was muting because of my kid, but I wanted to say thank you. Okay, now I messed up your flow. Sorry.
You're fine.
I'm so sorry.
I assure you, I'm a nerd. I have no flow. It's okay. So we have thank you to Gareth and Mick and Christopher, Brian Chapman, and Jay Holmes, Jeffrey, Mark. The reason is because it's Jay, so I read your last name and I'm reading everybody else's first names. I apologize for that. And Tim and everybody else that has been there for us and listening to the podcast and just helping us carry forward. Thank you, and thank you again. We definitely make use of it. As you can hear by all the high quality research we've done for our most recent episodes, right? I mean, I brought out big boxes and everything. Okay, I'm guessing you're muted, so I'm just going to pretend that you can't hear me. And I want to say hi. We're on Twitter at CGG Podcast, or say hi to Paul at the Phantom Fellows. We're also on Blue Sky. Send us your words. Mail at cggpodcast.com. Join us. We're on Facebook. We're a page. We're a group. Thank you for listening.
Don't do a murder. I'm back to say not to kill people. Don't do a murder.